In the middle of the East River, right under the noses of millions of people, there exists a little-known island, forbidden for civilians. They say that it's cursed. Local residents call it the Bermuda Triangle because planes and ships passing overhead suddenly crash. And those who survive often go insane. What's so dangerous about this place? What actually happened here? And can we find answers to these questions if we get to the island? I'll tell you all about this today. Just look at how close it is to Manhattan, but aside from birds and squirrels, only ghosts live here now. What is the name of this cursed island, and where is it? The island's name is North Brother Island, and it's located in the East River, just a few kilometers from Manhattan. It's small, less than 1.5 square kilometers, and yet it attracts so many legends and rumors. Currently, the island is completely covered by wild trees and dilapidated buildings that are impossible to enter. No one except scientists is allowed onto the island. If you try to approach the island by boat, they'll fine you for trespassing. The island is under the management of New York City, but it's strictly forbidden for civilians to set foot on it. How did this place get its reputation? As I said, the island is small. There's nothing to do here. So why is it forbidden to go there? And what's its dark past? Since the end of the 19th century, the island has been used as a place to quarantine patients suffering from fatal infectious diseases like smallpox, tuberculosis, typhoid, and other epidemics. For example, it was here that Typhoid Mary was imprisoned for nearly 30 years. She was a female chef who infected dozens of people with typhoid fever in the early 20th century. Her real name was Mary Mallon, but she went down in history as Typhoid Mary. She worked in the kitchens of wealthy New York families, infecting their children and other staff members. When she was finally caught, she refused to admit she was sick and spent almost 30 years in a hospital on North Brother Island until her death. She was the first person in the United States to be forcibly isolated for contagious disease and became a symbol of public health quarantine. And that's not all. On June 29, 1904, the General Slocum burned down near the island. It was a passenger steamboat that was carrying more than 1,300 people, mostly recent immigrants. It was on its way to an amusement park on the opposite shore of the river when it suddenly caught fire. People were trapped on the burning ship, and those who didn't jump into the water died of smoke poisoning or burns. The General Slocum tragedy is considered the most serious civilian maritime accident in New York history. Only 387 people survived the disaster. Over 1,000 people perished, including women and children. Many of the dead were taken to North Brother Island. Their bodies washed ashore over the following weeks, leaving an indelible mark on the island and the people of New York. This tragedy still haunts the city's residents, making the island seem cursed. There's another theory. During the Second World War, the island became a drug rehab center for veterans addicted to heroin. Many returned from the war with physical and psychological wounds, so they were sent to Riverside Hospital on North Brother Island. But after the war ended, the island was abandoned. It was closed in the 1960s and left in terrible condition. Abandoned buildings are always creepy, but these are especially so. Many people have seen them and claim that they can hear crying, footsteps, voices, and even see strange shadows in the ruined hallways. Is the island cursed, or is it just a well-known rumor? So what's on the island today? Is it worth going to? And if it's forbidden to do so, why? Today, the island is home to various species of birds and mammals, including foxes, squirrels, chipmunks, rabbits, and others. It's also become a popular spot for birdwatchers. That's why the entrance to the island is officially prohibited. If you want to enjoy the beauty of nature here, you can take a drone. Yes, that's the only way to see the island. I found some great drone footage on YouTube that shows us what this place looks like today. Look at how the forest is swallowing up the ruined buildings. It looks like a real apocalyptic world. Honestly, I doubt that there are any scientists on the island besides me. Who else would want to go there? But let's think about it this way. If there are no people, and there were before, then it means that the souls of those people stayed on the island. We don't know if the island is haunted or not, and it's scary to even think about it. Imagine being at a party with friends on a boat, and suddenly the engine breaks down, and you have to swim to this island. I bet that person would have to swim very fast, because once they got to the island, they wouldn't make it out alive. Let's go back to our drone footage. The island looks terrifying. The fact that the buildings are slowly being destroyed by nature is both sad and beautiful at the same time. We know that the island was used as a quarantine hospital, but before that, what was it used for? The island was originally used as a potter's field for burying the poor and people who died of smallpox. Smallpox was a terrible disease that killed millions of people around the world. At that time, it wasn't clear how the disease was transmitted, so people were quarantined on North Brother Island. This led to the construction of Riverside Hospital on the island, which opened in 1885. And now let's talk about the tragedies that unfolded here. As I mentioned earlier, one of the most famous patients at Riverside Hospital was Typhoid Mary. She was a cook who unknowingly spread typhoid fever to dozens of people. She was eventually identified as the source of the outbreak and forcibly quarantined on North Brother Island. Another tragedy that occurred on the island was the sinking of the General Slocum, a steamboat that caught fire and sank near the island in 1904. More than 1,000 people died in the disaster, and many of the bodies were brought to the island. And now about the terrible events of 1945. It was during World War II. After the United States entered the war, the hospital began receiving veterans suffering from severe illnesses and injuries. The soldiers were sent to the island to recover, but many of them never left. They struggled with both physical and psychological wounds and eventually passed away. And now let's talk about the urban legends that surround the island. One of the legends says that the island is cursed. This is due to the large number of deaths and tragedies that have occurred here over the years. Another legend says that the island is haunted by the spirits of those who died here. People claim to have seen ghosts walking through the ruins of the hospital and heard disembodied voices and footsteps. Some even say that they've encountered apparitions of people who died on board the General Slocum. And what's the truth? Of course, we can't know for sure whether the island is cursed or haunted. But one thing is certain, this is a place with a tragic past. The stories of those who died here should not be forgotten. They remind us of the human cost of war, disease, and poverty. I looked up a lot of information about the island and found different opinions. Some people believe that the island is haunted, while others say that it's just an urban legend. Personally, I tend to believe that there's no curse on the island. These are simply the events that took place here. People died, and their souls stayed here. They didn't go anywhere. In my opinion, this is what makes the island truly creepy. I won't hide it from you. It's hard to believe that everything I told you actually happened, but it did. You can read about it in the old chronicles. I suggest you watch another video. It's about mysterious places in the USA. Bye.